everyone that this session is recorded. Okay, and then I will be posting this one again in our LMS CCE 104. Okay, so I said that we are going to discuss about the DML command. So we are now having a review about insert into. So I said also that here's a console. We will be using insert into, tapos the table name, then the values, and then this is where you are going to write the values. So the number of values that you are going to specify here depends upon the number of fields in your table design. So in this case, in this example, there are only 3 fields in the imp table. Okay, so that's why you have 3 field values here. So the first value 7, so the data type, actually we do not have here the table design for emp, but looking at the field value here, we can say that the first field has the data type integer. The second one is varchar because it has single quotes, and the third one is another int. Okay, so that is how you are going to insert your records. And during the discussion yesterday, not yesterday, the other meeting, I said that primary key should be unique, and therefore this one here, this is the primary key area. So you should not input or insert another record in the imp table with 7 as the key value. So next is, we will be having the MySQL select statement. So the MySQL select statement, this is used to retrieve records from the table specified. And then, as what I have mentioned and discussed and have shown to you in the previous sessions, the asterisk, this is used to refer to all the columns in the table. Or you may also list the field names that you would like to display. So if it is more than one, you separate your field list with a comma. So in this case, there are 3 columns from the table user. Okay. So the first example, select asterisk from product. So if product has 5 columns, then all of the columns will be displayed and all of the records will be displayed. Same with the second one because there is no where clause. So medyo pas-pas ko class kay review na lang man siya. So the where clause, this is where you specify the conditions because you have a condition because you are filtering the records that you would like to display. So there is a condition on what records to display. You're instructing MySQL that display only this record that qualifies to my conditions specified in the where clause. So here we have an example. The name of the table is officers. And then since we are using asterisk, meaning to say we refer to all of the columns in the table officers. And the where clause here is address equal to Matina. So meaning to say the records that will be displayed, all of the columns in the table officers, and then should only display the records in which officers has an address Matina. So you have to put single quotes because the data type of address field is either varchar, car, or text. And you can also list the columns from the table officers. So just like this one, ID, name, and address. So only 3 columns will be displayed plus the where clause, which is address would only be Matina. So it could be that MySQL will return you with a 0 to many record. 0 if there is no officer living in Matina, or 1 if there is only one officer living in Matina, and many if there are many officers living in Matina. So do not be frustrated if in case you are going to write your query command tapos there is no result set generated. Meaning to say, you will be given an empty set answer. So meaning to say, di tayo makapamugos if there is no record really. So that will only become a problem, empty set problem, if when you browse your records from the table, you can see that there is really an officer living in Matina. No, meaning to say, is something is wrong with your work clause. So you have to check again your work clause. And also, I know you are familiar with the logical operators already, just like and or. So you can also use them, and even not, you can use them in the where clause. Okay, so you know already the characteristic of an and logical operator. It will only be true if both of the statements in the left and right side are true. So it will be executed. So if the department of the student is CCE and the course is IT, that will be displayed. But if the department of the student is CCE and the course is IS, so this condition is true, but the other condition course kay IS man, so that is false. So true and false, that is false, and therefore that will not be included in generating the records from the table students. Okay. So that one. But you can say here, class, select asterisk from students where department is equal to CCE and course is equal to IT or course is equal to IS. So it will check who are those students whose department is CCE and whose course is either IT or IS. But it doesn't display if the course is CS, is CS, is EMC, is Multimedia Arts. Kaya yung giingon diri kay dapat CCE siya and course is IT or IS. Wait lang ha, mag-switch da ko entire screen because gusto ko magamit og WordPad and I can shift from Word to console environment in MySQL. So excuse me. So I will share entire screen. Ito ba yung Word ko? No, it's not the one. Stop muna ako. Open ko muna yung Word. Para I can easily write if I have some notes. All right. So you can see my Word file. Tama ba ako, class? Can you see my screen? I do not look at the chat box anymore. Kindly turn on your mic if
Yes,
you
ma'am.
can see my screen. So it's a Word file, no? So I said a while ago that you can mix and or. So this one is an example equal to CCE. Tapos you will say and course equal to IT. Pag mag-or ka class, di ka bulit yung or IS. Wrong na siya. May diretso kag ingon og or IS. That's wrong. So you have to include the field name, or course is equal to IS, semicolon. So this one, this will only generate IT or IS. So kung yung kurso IT, pwede. Kung yung kurso IS, pwede. Basta ang yung department is CCE. Kung yung department is CBAE, wala man po yung course nga IT sa CBAE, no? So false to siya tanan. Okay? So this one, this is an example, di ba? You know already that if you are using the logical operator and it has a higher priority compared to OR, and therefore, it will check from here first, no? Department and course. So, tanaw niya kung IT or IS. Okay? So, both the statements first and then whichever will hold true here will be read, will be executed. Okay? Any question with this one? Maklaro ba ninyo sa class inyong end? Is this understood, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So you may put open and close parentheses here in this part. If you would like that this will be read first before the department, it's up to your scenario, no? Or it's up to the case that you are solving. Kasi di ba, lower priority si or. So if you would like that this will be read first over and, then you can put a parenthesis. Okay, so that is an example of the select DML command with a where clause and using logical operators and or. So another DML command is update. So update, this is used to edit the field value or values from your table. So it's easy to remember actually the syntax for update. So update, the keyword update, then the table name, and then the keyword set, followed by the field name that you are going to update. So if there will be more than one field that you are going to update, you do this one, field 1, and then the new value, then field 2, then the new value, and your optional where clause. Always take note that the where clause is optional. And though it's optional, you have to be careful because if you do not put the where clause, meaning to say it will affect to all of the records in your table. So if you wouldn't want that, because you would like to be specific, then you have to put the where clause. So I have here an example, update students. So students, this is the table name. Set course equal to HRM. Anong ga double quotes siya? Comma, depth equal to CHE, where stud ID is equal to 267665. In this case, class, ang wala man ga single quote, no? Ang iyahang kuha na ni class, data type ani is numeric. So, it's either int. Okay? So, mag-quote lang mo kung text, varchar, or car. Wait, kay mura questionably na nag-question ko aning nag-double quote dire. I will try in my MacBook, in my not this one. Oh yeah, this one. So select, maklaro ba diya sa inyo, ha? Saan na nga yun? Ay, ito lang talaga siya. Mag-max. Oh, I could not zoom. So select, asterisk. So muna kung giyon class, walay kuan sa ako ang MacBook. Walay, tawag ani, database. So select asterisk from patient. Ayan, isa lang yun ang record class. Isa lang atong daog-daogon sa. Okay, so we will change the example, the first name of the patient DP001. So from Giancarlo, ilisa na to John Paulo. Or John Carl na lang, John Carl. So, update. Wala po ko'y, wala pa na ako na ano kung sa equivalent sa notepad dali class. So, update. What's the name of the table? Patient. So, the keyword set. And then, what is the field name that I would like to update class? From Giancarlo, himo na kong John Carl. So, what is that field name? Please turn on your mic. I could not switch screen kaya I'm sharing entire screen. Para di ta malipong o balin-balihin o screen. So, what is the field name that I'm going to update?
PF name, ma'am.
Okay, thank you for that reply. Okay, so PF name. So ako class usay maghulat jud ko reply ngano basig ako na lay gayaw-yaw wala na day mo dira no. So equal to John Carl. So wala na yung O, John Carl na lang. So in this case actually pwede ko dili mag where clause but pwede ko dili mag where clause because there is only one record but in the real world it's not like that no. So, what is the basis of our kanang naang condition? So, in this case, it's better to use the primary key. So, patient ID equal to, so varchar, may data type ano niya class. If you are going to look at the table design here, si patient ID naka-varchar. So, meaning to say, mag single quota. So, BP001. Okay? So, ayan. So, ingon na siya class query. Okay, one row affected. So, select asterisk from patient. So, you see, from John Carlo, it now has become John Carl. Question? So, ang SIM class, di ko sure kung pwede yun ng double quote. Ako daw ikuan be. Kasi I'm not the one who's writing the SIM. Bilisan daw na ito balik. Double quote. Ako kung nabawaan na, hindi siya double quote. Nag-query. Okay rin pala siya. So, okay day siya. Sige, anyway. So, you can actually arrow up lang class for the saved commands. So, in my MacBook, it's not difficult to navigate, but might be kung sa Windows mo, lisod mag-navigate. So, that's why I suggested that you are going to use Notepad. But I do not suggest sa Windows kita nawa guni sa class O. I tried to in Word, I tried to insert kanina using my Microsoft Word, but when I pasted it, nag-error siya. When I reviewed, wala namang error. So, kasi there is an issue with a single quote from Word to here sa console environment. Okay, so that's the reason why I opted to just encode directly to the console environment. Check ko pa mamaya. Sorry kasi just today lang na ako giano sa akong MacBook ang MySQL. So check ko pa mamaya kung ano yung mga equivalent na mga software dito. Okay? So if you do not have questions, so take note class ha, you can either use double quote or single quote for this one. Okay? Question?
Wala, ma'am.
Wala. Then class, sa delete class, delete lang ko magamit doon sa console ha. Kasi di ba one record lang yun doon. Ay, delete pa yun na ako class. Ayun na lang class. So just remember the syntax and then the sample na lang. So delete from the table name where the condition. Okay. So here we have an example. Delete from empt where depth is equal to human resources and status is equal to resigned. So there is, in the human resources department, there is a table called empt and there are employees listed in that table M. So ilahang katong mga status sa employee nga resigned na ilang i-delete. Okay? Na ay ano kasi anak class, a little bit na kasi mga discrepancy class. Tapos, di na lang ko mag-mention. Ay wait, recorded pala to. So, no, di siya pwede dahil. Dili pala na ako pwede i-ingon class because this is a recorded session. Anyway, so that's it class. That is how you are going to write a delete command. So, take note that there is no, ang mali kasi kasagaraan sa mga beginners, if they are going to use the delete command is, they will put here field name or asterisk. So, inanaon nila sa uban class O kasi naanad na from and they pattern it from select. So, please do not put a column after the keyword delete or an asterisk. Okay? So, is that clear? And if you do not put the where clause, all of the records from your table will be deleted. So, be careful when you delete. And in the real world, you could not just execute the command delete and even cancel. You might have noticed when you will be going to Jollibee, sabay nakasulay work sa Jollibee, or of course you have dine in sa Jollibee, right? So you have noticed that when you buy in Jollibee, tapos you would like to cancel your order, so the cashier will call the attention of the manager or the supervisor first, because deletion, this is a very sensitive command in the business. So no employee which are not authorized can do deletion. So manang manawag pa na sila sa ilang manager. Nakabantay ba mga anak class?
Yes, ma'am.
Oo. So kung ordinary employee lang ka class, meaning to say, example, kung cashier lang ka, you will just do cashiering. And deleting a particular record is not allowed, kay that would cause a lot of effect, no? Kasi imong i-delete ni nga particular transaction para inig inventory sa imuha, inig compute for your total sales of the day. So pwede kay tuno nga dili ma-record imong gi-delete. So things like that. And also in the real world, the logs of the user is recorded also. If kung sa iyang gihimo, ang sabay mga records nga iyang gi-delete, sa records nga iyang gi-add, the activities of the user is being recorded. There is a log history para you can trace kung ano yung ginagawa ni user. So that is for future uses. If in case there you would like to trace for discrepancies or some other things. Okay. So now that you know how to use the primary DML commands, let us try it using MySQL. So hands-on na din mo ani class ha. And then I would like you to submit this activity. So create a table student and then please do all this. Apa ba enough time ta? So what kasi enough time. So I just would like you to do this activity. I will be posting this one after our session. Okay, so number 1 here is update the city of Ibong Adarna to Samal. May Ibong Adarna ani. This one. So in your where clause, unsa may gamito nimo ani sa where clause? So you can use student ID. So you could not use last name kasi nga muna imong i-update, di ba? But you can use emails because in this case, it's unique. Okay? And if you remember our discussion last session, I said that the primary key value could not be updated. So never attempt to do update in your primary key. Okay? And then the second scenario is update the first name and last name of Padre Damaso to Damaso Verdulagas. And then number 3, retrieve all students from Samal. So imong where clause ani city is equal to Samal. And in this case, you should have one result set only, one result only. Delete student Jose Rizal. So this one. Okay? So that will be your activity, your practice activity later. So if you have successfully completed the task above and got the correct answer, so mamaya, congratulations. These are very simple commands, class. You can scroll up to check how to do this. And in MySQL class, there are already predefined functions, just like in Java, sa pabaylain yung encounter na Java lang man, no? So just like in Java, there are already predefined functions so that users will no longer define the steps or the instructions on how to do it. So it is categorized, and here in the sim, there are 4 which are listed. So the first one, these are aggregate functions. The second one, string functions, date and time, and then math functions. So, we are going to study them. Kasi dito kanis sila class, daghan kaayong mga commands under this. You can go to mysql.com to check what are the equivalent aggregate functions, the string functions, and date and math functions. I'll see if it's here in the sim. Na I count mga aggregate sum, and I average, mean, max, having, like, in, makalipong, dagan kay siya class. But I could not see yet string functions. So we will just have a separate discussion for the string functions because that is very important also. Okay? So I hope wasa mo nalipong dira nga scroll down ko. Nalipong ba? Scroll up na ko, class. So I will discuss them. What's the first one? So distinct. So as the word distinct says, this is the clause to return only distinct or unique values. So here we have a table called country, and these are the records for the table country. There are 10 records. So ingon dere, the syntax is select distinct column from table. So I have here an example, select distinct country from, so the table name, by the way, class, I do not know kung na-mention ako ganyan country, but I would like to correct myself, that is customers. So here, the one that you are, the column that you are referring is country. So this column here. So ang gipangita diri, class, is the distinct country. So dili niya apilon kung ibalik na si country. Okay, so we have here Germany, Belgium, Canada, USA, Brazil, and Venezuela. So it's like the purpose of querying, class, is just to know what are the countries listed in the customers table. So wala na niya nag-repeat ng uban. There are records here, just like Germany, it appeared twice. But since you are using the function distinct or the keyword distinct, so that's the reason why it appears once only. So imo lang gi-list diri what are the countries, what are the unique countries. Is this understood? Yes or no? Tanaw ko sa chat box. Nasabtan to siya, class, ang distinct. Wala ra bay response sa chat box. Is that understood, class? Distinct? Yes, ma'am. Okay. Thank you. So na kasi mga instances class in which a particular field value will appear many times. Example, if um, in the admission table, it could be that the illness will appear many times. So, but if your purpose is just to check in the admission record kung ano ba yung mga illness na nandun, so you will just use the keyword distinct para it doesn't repeat the illness. Kasi pwede man, especially in this time, in the hospital, in the admission. So, dagan kayo nakabutan to, probable COVID. So, di ka gusto nga mo appear to siya many times kay you would like to list only what are the illnesses aside from, of course, COVID. So, tanaw nimo kung napabay na-admit kaya nga gi-diarrhea, gi-dengue, simbakulang, o gi-UTI. So para it's easy to trace if there are still admission like that and you don't care naman the number of occurrences, you'd like to know kung unsa lay mga sakit do nga naa sa admission nga table, so you use the keyword distinct. Okay? So that is the application in the real world. So let's go back here. Next is order by. So order by, because during our discussion last meeting, I said, and it's stated in the same, that the order on how the records are entered is irrelevant because we have this command order by in which it can arrange the records in a particular order. So it's either ascending or descending order. So if it's ascending, it's A to Z. If it is descending, it is Z to A, depending on the column that you specified. So kung ingon ka og here, select asterisk from customers, order by customer ID, DESC, so descending. So if you notice here, naka-descending po siya class. So 10 to 2. So select asterisk from customers, order by. So whatever imong specify diri nga column or field name, that will be the basis of the ordering or the arrangement. Plus, whatever type of ordering you write here, either descending or ascending, that matters also. So that will be the basis on how the set of records will be displayed. So, Word ba itong i-open ako? It's Word. So, pwede na to i-edit. You can have here, ay, meron para sa baba. So, select CNAME, country. So, ito naman, iyang gipili nga, 2 columns only from customers. Order by CNAME or the customer name, ASC. So, this is according to the customer name and the order is ascending. Yan. So, since wala man niya gihimong simple ang iyang composite nga customer name, so here, it's, sa first name siya naka-base. So, A to R. Okay? So, diri siya naka-base. So, that's the reason why, class, if there is a need that you have to convert composite to simple, you have to do it. Otherwise, if situations wherein you would like to arrange your record according to the last name, if this is the scenario, it's difficult to do that. It's difficult to do that because you did not subdivide the customer name. So it's really advised to subdivide it. First name, middle name, and then last name. You have to make it simple. Okay? Para kung ang imong tuyo is just to know the last name, it's easy to do it. Unlike this one. No? So I hope this is understood. If you have questions, just post it in the chat box. Later on, I will switch screen. Paspas ako class or okay lang?
Okay lang, ma'am.
Okay. And next is another function, the count. So makahibalo jud kag function ka siya class because there is an open and close. Okay? So it's like methods in Java. So since this is predefined already, so MySQL knows what is the use of the command. So count is used to return the count of an expression. So depending on what you specified here as your parameter inside the open and close parentheses of the function. So select count and then your aggregate expression from table name and then your condition. So here select count tapos CNAME. So customer name from customers. So gi-count lang dire pila ka buok customer records and then the answer is 10. Okay? So another, select count distinct C country from customers. So here it's the command distinct and the function count, they are used together because you can do that one class. So that's the reason why if you are going to look at the C country fields, there are 10 entries, there are 10 field values, but it's generating 6 after count because you specified the keyword distinct. Yan, ingon man ta nga kinahanglan unique siya. So kung ibalik siya, dili siya apilon og ihap. Okay? So that's the reason why we only have 6. So that one. Okay? So si count, ang yung i-return mo is a numeric value. It's not the C country. So take note of that. Numeric value yung i-return kasi ipaihap man mo siya, count. So next is sum. So when we are in the cashiering environment and you are going to total the total sales of the cashier in a day, so you can use the function sum. So select sum and then your aggregate expression from tables and your condition. Okay? So select sum sales from orders. So dito, there is no condition. Select sum from orders. So tapos, wala i-specify. Basta kay, check lang niya kung pila na may total sales from our orders table. So iya lang ning i-add tanan. I-sum lang niya tanan. 25, 14, 36, 1,000, 5,000. Hopefully, wala na sayop ang SIM. It should give 13,500. Okay? So, iyang gisam, tanan. But, if there is a condition specified in your where clause, pareho dito, so, ang iyang isam lang is only those which are delivered. So, select some sales from orders were delivered equal to yes. So if it's not yet delivered, then meaning to say it's not counted as sales yet. So here, it's returning 8,900. Take note also, class, that the data type that you can write here or the data type of the variable or the field that you can specify here should be numeric. Because if you put here text or alphanumeric values, then that would generate an error. So, dili man mo na isam ng mga ngalan. Naday answer kung isam ni mo ng mga ngalan sa mga empleyado. Of course, wala. Okay? So, take note ha that the data type here should be numeric. Is this understood? So, kung naata sa SM, sa sales nga table, and then you are going to check what is the total sales of the cashier. So, your where clause will be where date is equal to now. So there is also another function called now in which it gets the current date. Or you may specify the date. But in the front end, mo na lang manang i-click ang date. But since you are not a user, you are a designer, a database designer, so you have to learn how to do it here. And your thinking should be like this. So you have two thinkings, the front end and then the back end. Next is MySQL AVG for the average function. So select and then the AVG function and then your aggregate expression from tables and then your where clause. So here, select AVG sales from orders were delivered equal to no. So take note, it is average. So this is no man ang ipangita, no? So this records 3 and 4. Yeah, if it is average, of course, you have to get the sum first. But it's not your job. It's the job of the MySQL command AVG. So just checking. So this is 4,600. So since it's average and there are 2 occurrences only, so it's divided by 2. But it's not your job to provide the formula because you already have this function AVG. So the result here is 2,300. Okay? So that is the an example of AVG. So mura ba og usahay miingon taon sa ba di atong average sales if Christmas season? Or what is our average sale if it is just an ordinary week? So business owners should know that one because if the sales goes down, they have to check what went wrong, why we did not reach the average sale for this week. Or mingon ta nga, or mingon si business owner nga, it is Christmas time and in last year, our average sales for Christmas is this amount. But in this year, we have this amount only. So it will become a question in the end of the business owner. What went wrong? So in this time, siguro you can say because it's pandemic and there are many people who lost their job. So they can take actions from that one. Okay, so it's either naa sila yung mga promo, discounts, or they are going to think some other strategies. Okay, so that's very important to the part of the business owner. So they have to do something about it. They have to do some actions. So next naman is the MySQL min function. So it returns the minimum value from the table. So again, pag min siya, the data type of your aggregate expression should be numeric. So ang atong gidaog-daog diri is sales because that will match to the function. Okay? So the minimum or sige daw, can you tell me why 1,400 when ang giingon diri minimum meaning to say the lowest. Pero pag tanaw nimo diri 1,000 man yung lowest, but bakit yung output is 1,400? Anyone can turn on his or her mic to yeah. Okay, who's this turning on the mic?
Me, ma'am. Since among yes, ma'am, ang number 2 nga order ID, ma'am, siya ang pinaka-lowest na o ma'am, value.
Yeah, thank you. That's a correct answer because in your where clause, your field is delivered and the field value is yes. So there is a yes. If you are going to trace, it's 1,4, which is the lowest value, the minimum value. So that's the reason why it is the output. Okay. So we do not just look at the characteristic of the function. Of course, we have to check also the where clause. Okay. So next is the max. And if you say max, meaning to say it's the maximum value, the highest value. So here it's 5,000. And since delivered yes pa rin here, so that's why it's 5,000. This is understood, class, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So next is the function first. So the first function is used to return the first value of the selected column. So select column or set of columns or list of columns, I mean, from the table name, tapos the limit 1. So here, select asterisk from customers, limit 1. So 1 lang daw yung occurrence. Okay? So Maria Anders. Yan, here. So that's first, limit 1. So the first, so ang sinabi dito, first is the used to return the first value of the selected column. So the first value of the selected column, and that is Maria Anders. Okay? And then this one naman, select columns from table. This is, we are now in the last function. And anyone here can explain why we have here Yushi Tanamuri, customer ID 3, as the output. Knowing last, which is used to return the last value of the selected column.
Ako, ma'am, since descending man ang ano, ma'am, so pinaka-last ang y, ma'am. Maong siya ang last function, ma'am.
Okay, that's it. That is a correct answer. Si Yushi Tanamuri, this one. Kaya nag-descending manggod ta, class. Ingon ani ang mahitabo, class, pagka magsige kog admit para makarelate mo. Para I hope you will use your Mindanao account. Okay? So next is group by clause. So group by clause is used to collect data from multiple records and group the result by one or more columns. That's why it's called group by. So it is generally used in select statements with aggregate function. So you have to pair it with an aggregate function. So the syntax is select, then the expression, and of course, the aggregate function, then the expression from the table name, and the optional where clause. And then the group by, and then the expression. So here, select country, then you are going to count the country. So dalawa yung ano niya, class columns. From customers. So since optional yung where clause, that's why it's not included here. And then the grouping is C country. So this is now the output. Okay? So in our query kanina, there are 2 columns, C country, and then count. So it's just counting the occurrences of C country from the table customers. So to verify, Belgium, kapila ba ni appear si Belgium? It appears 1. So that's why here we have accounting 1. Si Brazil. So ilan yung occurrences ni Brazil? So tama siya, it's 1. How about Canada? How many occurrences are there for Canada? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And then Germany, 2, and so on. Okay, so if you are going to bring this one in the real world, and especially in the hospital, in my example, in the admission and then patient, in the admission table, if you would like to see the illnesses, example, you would like to know kung unsa may mga illnesses sa mga admitted patient in this time of the pandemic, puro lang ba COVID? So, kato kanina, you are going to issue the command, select illness, comma, count illness. So you are going to count how many patients whose illness is COVID, whose illness is diarrhea, whose illness is dengue, and so on. Okay? And mo man ang miingon na sila karon nga, ay tanan na lang yung sakit karon kay COVID na lang yun. Okay? So dito na tan-awon sa admission table. Gusto ba yung mga illnesses sa mga admitted patient karon? So ihapon. And then they will say, you see from this count, from in this month of in the month of August, the illnesses of the patients admitted for COVID, there are like 5,000, ay, wag po nga na, si 1,000 na lang. There are 1,000, and for dengue, only 1, and for UTI, there is only 1. So, COVID na lang yun ang sakit sa tanang mga tao karon. Mga na dayon na sila, class. Okay, so that is how we are going to relate this group by command in the real world scenario. Is that understood, class? Hello? Na-figure out ba ninyo siya, class? Ako ang sample.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Sige ha, kung wala din siya na-figure out, you can turn on your mic and you can write your messages in the chat box. You can write your questions, your comments, your opinions. That is just very fine. Okay? So there is another example here. Next is having. So you might have noticed, class, nga as we go along, the command is becoming complicated. So ganyan naman talaga. So MySQL having clause is used with group by clause. It always returns the rows where condition is true. The where clause is optional and it is used to filter the database on the specified condition. So this is the syntax. So kinahanglan na agyapon kay expression tapos aggregate function class. So in the SIM, the aggregate functions are listed. Okay, so you just have to scroll up. So the one that we have used a while ago was count. So from table and then your optional where clause, group by, and having as your then condition. So example, select C country and then country. So this is now your aggregate function, the count. Then from customers, group by C country. So the same kanina class. Having C country greater than 2. Ana. So there is another additional condition na so that it will be included in the output, the counting of C country should be greater than 2. So this should be greater than equal to 2. This is again class, this is greater than equal to 2. Kasi diri sa output class, gi-include man niya ang 2. So nagamay na lang ang output class. So it's Germany and Canada na lang because ingunta greater than equal to 2. Germany, kapila ba nag-appear in Germany? 1 and 2. Tama? Canada is 4. So that's why they are included. So let's go back to the real world scenario dito sa hospital. So may ingon tao, this kind of illness is, there is a tawag ana niya class kanang daghan gani nga cases. So si hospital will set for them to say nga daghanin siya nga case, it should appear or there should be a count of the cases, example, more than 10 times. Okay? Or minsan more than 20 times. So any illness nga more than 20 times imong count dito sa admission, then you can say nga there is, kasi tawag na class, break, hindi siya breakout. Outbreak. There is an outbreak. Kaya pag tanaw ninyo in this week, wala daghan lagi king diarrhea in this area. Pag tanaw nimo sa count ba, sa cases sa diarrhea, sa illness, daghan kaayo. So we could not say that there is an outbreak if gamay ra ang cases like 1 or 2. So miingon ta og for this week in this area ang ilang diarrhea kay niabot og 20. So that is something that is notable. So that's the reason why we need to use these commands, kanang mga aggregate, group by, and having functions. Because this will lead to a conclusion, and then from that conclusion, there is a decision to be done. There is actionable things to do. So, report din sa Department of Health, si hospital. Mingon na din si hospital nga, in our admission record, in this area in Turil, there are 20 patients admitted with diarrhea. So, si Department of Health karon that will go to Turil and will check what went wrong. Okay? So, that is how important these commands are. And then, this one class, do not worry, this is not so difficult. The MySQL-like condition. So, si like, kailan man ta ni like no kay kuan naa sa Facebook. Pero iba rin naman yung like na yon. Okay? So, like, so this is used to look for the pattern, matching to find the result. So it is used with select, insert, update, and then delete. So use the percent or underscore sign to specify the patient. So the percent sign represents 0, 1, or multiple characters. And then the underscore represents a single character. So example, if you would like to know who are these customers whose name starts with letter R. So you will say, select CNAME from customers where CNAME like R%. So you are checking, or MySQL will check CNAME field name and then sees what are those rows in which the name starts with letter R. So kani si Renate, si Rene, so this one. But you can also have this class. Select CNAME from customers where CNAME like mangita taglaing sample kanang daghan. Ay, wala may daghan. Okay, balik ka ni Rene. RENA %. Okay, like that class. We're seeming like Rena %. So, dili na ni ma-appeal si Rene. So, si Renate na lang. Okay? So, that is the use of %. So it is a wildcard character. It could represent any letter. It substitutes. Okay? So kung country, napariha ba C, B, G, wala, gabalik-balik, no? So lisod po nangitaan. Okay? Is this understood? Or you can have also select C, country, where mga cases class ba nga you could not si country from customers, you could not memorize kung unsa gito siya, you can just remember a part of it. Murag ingon ana ba like ay pas kaganina I forget kung unsa to siya, outbreak ba to siya or breakout. So what I can remember is break only. So you can say class nga where illness or where's C country like % break o ana. So meaning you do not know kung unsay sinugdanan ato niya, basta na siya break, it's in the end. Or if break is in the middle, you do this one. Ana. You do not know what's the beginning letters and the ending letters. What you know is there is break. Okay? So, dito, can have C country. So, you forgot what's the beginning letters. What you remember is na agito yung letter A. Di ba yung mga instances na ingon anak class? Mana ka nga. Ang ako rin yung remember ato kay nato siya letter A sa katapusan. Okay, so in this case, ilang makabuo country nga letter A ending. So, Canada. So, maggamit ita distinct ani class, no? Para so, Canada and Venezuela. So, only two. There are two countries in which it ends with letter A. So, answer of this, C country, tapos Canada, then Venezuela. Two only because we use the keyword distinct. Gigutom lagi ko class. Gigutom mo? Gigutom kong tinabi class. Wala lang mo gigutom class. Ano bang oras na? Gusto mo mag-water break or bio break? Ha, gutom ma'am. Bio break ta 5 minutes class be. Mukha ako biskuit. Oh, racing. His or her hand. Gutom ma'am. Ah, bio break ta ha. Okay lang ba? Ano na, mo appear niya. Mawala dayon. Ano yan? Yes, ma'am. Sige, thank you for your responses. All bio break. Ah, grabe po ng 1 hour meal. Ilan, so, 5 minutes lang ha. Nag-joke si Neil. I know, nag-joke si Neil. So, sige, Jean, KZ, Fernando, Isel, Neil, mag-bio break sa tag 5 minutes. So, it's 11:22, 11:27. So, we'll be back 11:27. All right, it's 11:27. So we'll now be back. Are you there? No, ay nagtingog. Isa to. Is anyone typing? Ah, yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you for your response, Jean. Okay, so we'll now be back and gamay nilang maday nabilin sa sim class. Okay, so I will share again entire screen. By the way, kato ako ang gi-post na synchronous session. Na ano ba ninyo siya, class? Na-view ba ninyo siya? Wala ra ba'y problema ato? Or nangayo og code. Wala ba'y mga inana nga mangayo og code? But akong giset dito kay anyone with the link mo. Na-view ba ninyo ang ako ang i-post? Nasa week 6 actually, na mali ko. Unsa na dayron? Week 4, week 5, mali ko. Hello? Nakita ba ninyo ang synchronous session nga akong gi-post? Kasi dapat sa everything else nga channel. So ako rin nalimot man ko sa akong email na gigamit ato class nalimot ko. Kaya dito na lang sa drive. Kasi I used to log in that channel in my Windows laptop. But since nasira na ako Windows nga laptop, yan, nalimot ko because the last time I used it maybe 6 months ago. Well, anyway, wala lagi ka-reply. Can you hear me? Ma-view ba tong akong i-post? Okay, I will be posting again later. So, kung naay problema dito, dapat ato na mas. Sa week 6, nako siya nabutang isel. Di ba, ga-promise man ko sa inyo last meeting. Ang buti nga ng week 6, nako siya gibutang, Euro 4. Ah, kasi naka-Euro 4 siya. Week 6.
Ma'am, ano siya, ma'am, ma-view.
Ah, ma-view. Thank you.
Ma'am.
Kapag naka-absent, unsa Margo?
Ma'am, katong ano, sa extension, ma'am, sa pagpasa.
Yeah, later after the session, we are not done yet with the session.
Okay, ma'am.
Sige, so I will continue ha. Gamay na lang man ang naa sa sim. So for those who are late today, you can view the recorded session. But next meeting, of course, I will not record the session. Kaya baka wala na ko estudyante nga mo attend. Kaya dito lang sa recorded session. So I do not do posting of recorded session every time. Okay? Sige. So you have my Word file in the shared screen. Ay, by the way, cell, nakita na ni mo i-cell? Ang recorded. Nasa week 6 A-cell, you look for pinaka-bottom. Okay, thank you. Sige, so I'll proceed. Okay, we're almost done. Okay, so is this understood, class, the like command? So, this is very useful, especially if you are going to search for records and then you do not remember the entire value, the entire field value. You only remember a part of or a portion. Okay, so it's nice to use the like command. Nya daghan na bag yun ani sa exam ingon tamudaan inyong exam sa second grading ingon ani ang mga questions. That's why giapas jud na ako na siya class. All this discussed in this sim will come out in the exam. And later oy wait lang ha. Wala na ba ko exam view ani nga MacBook? Abangan nyo lang tomorrow na lang siguro na ako ma-post kasi naamo ko yung duty sa UM tomorrow. So na exam view dito kay na Windows. So mag-post ko tomorrow, mga 9 a.m., I will post MCQ questions in which it has questions like this. It's using commands like this. 10 questions. Ansiran dyan ninyo siya class and it will expire on that day. Okay? So it will, I will be posting 10 to 15 questions and it will expire on that day. Yeah, mo gawas po ito uban sa exam. I'll tell you that. So you have to take it tomorrow. It will be available 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Sige. So there are samples here for the like operator so that you will not be confused with percent and underscore. So there are differences. So like a percent finds values that start with letter A, and then percent A finds values that ends with A. So I have demonstrated this one a while ago. And then here in the middle naman, so any country name in which it has an or in the middle of its name. Whereas when you say underscore R, finds any value that have R in the second position. So take note of the difference. Here, pagka mag-underscore ganing ka, meaning to say, you are looking for this value in which the second letter is an R. And this one naman finds any values that start with A and then and are at least 2 characters in length. So duha ra ni siya ka characters kay exact man guni si underscore, exact position. So in this case, but there is percent here. So finds any values that start with A and are at least 2 characters in length. And then the second one naman finds any value that starts with A and are at least 3 characters in length. So 1, 2, 3. Okay? And then here naman finds any values that starts with A and ends with O. Okay? So that is how you can use underscore and percent differently. So siguro kaning na-agree kaning duha or kaning tatlo sa underscore. It might be when you are beginning MySQL, learning about these commands, siguro di pa rin nyo siya magamit. But time come that you will use these commands. So next is the MySQL in condition. So the MySQL in condition is used to reduce the use of multiple OR conditions in a select command. When we're starting kanina, I have presented the logical operators and then OR. Yung sa course na department is equal to CCE and then course is equal to IT or IS. Yung sa kanina, di ba? But what if there are 5 courses? DEP is equal to CCE, course is equal to IT or IS or BSEMC or BSCS or BMMA. Daghan ba yung courses in a department because there are big departments. So that's very difficult to write the OR conditions. That would make your statement very long. So what you do is you substitute OR with in. So para dili na ka mag-say or. And take note, if you are going to use or, di ba kanina in my sample, course is equal to IS, course is equal to IT, or course is equal to BSEMC. So mag-repeat ra ba jud ka sa course. So whereas sa in, you will just list here. Then that's it. Okay? So select expression from table where expression, keyword in, and then the values. So ato siya gi-ano ha. So select expression. Expression. Select depth, comma, course from student where depth equal to CCE and tapos course in open single quote lang tayo BSIT BSIS BSEMC BSCS so BMMA. So with this one class, your DML command will become shorter kay imagine na gud kung i-or nimo so kadaghan kayo nga taas-taas yung statement. Or course is equal to BSIT or course is equal to BSIS. So masyadong mahaba siya class. So you will just use the in condition. So, then here, let's go back to the example. Ayan. So, customer ID. So, ito yung output class because inyo din ang timan-an class. Ang inyong ibutang after select, these columns here, that is the basis of the output. Okay? So, kung sa inyong i-result set, here's a condition. Here, sa area here, this is for the condition. Okay? So, yun siya, select customer ID, CNAME from customers where country. So, basta kayo nasa sa USA, nasa sa Germany, nasa sa Belgium. Okay, so that will be included here. So, that's why si Canada, it's not included. Si number 3, not included. Si number 5, si Jean, not included. Rene is included because naaman din sa USA and here is Rene. And then Brazil is not in the list. So it's not included. It's not here in the list. Si Bernardo. Then Howard. Close me. Howard. Sige, so it's not here in the list. So it's not included in the output and so on. Okay? So that is the beauty of in. So actually, pagka mag-search kung mga records, I most of the time use in, especially if I am referring to or commands. Is this understood? Hello? Nasabtan ni siya, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Tubaga intang ko ninyo. Ano dito malibo kung naapa ba mo din ha or wala. Okay, thank you for the response. I hope this is understood. Okay? So, mahibawaan na ako na inyong kuan. Others are just silent. I do not know if you really understood. But I'll be posting questions and if you cannot answer, please answer it with all honesty. Okay? Core value of honesty and integrity. Next, saan na nga ako? Then, next is null condition. So, you are checking if the field value is empty. Okay? So, MySQL is null condition is used to check if there is a null value in the expression because not all fields are required. So if it is not required, the user could just skip the field value. Okay? So sometimes it has a meaning to the database designer. Okay, so that's the reason why there are times in which we are going to check if there are empty field value. So you can use this is null condition in select, insert, update, and then delete. So this is the syntax: select expression from table where expression is null. So example, so kani siya during area class ha, importante jud kay siya class. This is the katapita ini generates result set kung unsa iyang i-display. So diri na niya tan-awon class. So in these two columns, we will be expecting that it will display two columns from customer where. So what is the basis on what are the records to display? So we have here C country is null, meaning walang laman. But in this case, is C country, is there an empty field value? So wala class, no? And therefore, it says empty set. I remember during face-to-face time, if I'll be giving a problem to the students and then they are going to execute it in MySQL, tapos if they receive empty set, minus la error lagi ni ma'am, mag-golden sila kay empty set. So there are really, kuan nga, empty good siya. There are kanang scenarios asked or records asked in which it does not exist in our database. That's the reason why it will say empty set. Pero matingala man sila kay, hala, si classmate lagi kay na may result set. Bakit ako empty? Ayan, matingala na ka na class. Si classmate meron, ako wala. At kadalasan si classmate meron. Ako lang yung wala. So you have to check. Ayun yung masayang time during the face-to-face. So sa inyohan naman in this time, asa man na siya sa mabibo, sa GC, huy classmate, empty set lagi ko classmate. Empty set, pud mo ani nga number. Oh, dito mo sa GC, no? During synchronous session, ang tahimik masyado, but in the GC, ayan, maingay sa GC. Okay, next is MySQL between conditions. So the MySQL between conditions specifies how to retrieve values from an expression within a specific range. So, select expression from table where expression between value 1 and value 2. So, this is very useful keyword because there are instances in which we are going to look for the value in between the ranges. Like, I would like to know who are the students who are aged from 20 to 25. So, mangita ko ana nga range, 20 to 25. So, I will just use the keyword between. Rather than mayroong age greater than equal to 21 and age is less than equal to 5,000. So, to make it shorter, you will just use the keyword between. So, this is the original value and this is the result. So, di ka sa 2,000, between 2,000 and 5,000. So, it's record number 1, it's 2,500, it's within the range. 1,400 is not within the range, so it's not included in the output. 3,600, that is within the range, it's included in the output. 1,000 is less than 2,000, it's not included in the range, it's not included in the output. And then 5,000 is the max in the range, it is included in the output. Okay, so that is the keyword between. Questions? May question po ba tayo?
Wala, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that response. Thank you for turning on your mic. It's not yet, dami pala oh. Actually, class kung ato ginin tinudoon, porti gini siyang daghana pa kaayo. But I do not know if there is a scene for these details. Pero kanina bitaw siya, gamit ba? Kaya sila, mga date. Anyway, so MySQL not condition. So it works opposite to in, like, between, and is null. So not in or not like. So you can still use in, pero you're going to pair it with not. So you mean the opposite. So I hope you have understood all of our topics for the previous functions stated above, so that you will now be ready for our MySQL date functions. So it could be that our data type is date. So mag-share sa akong entire screen. So this one, can you see my SQL console screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we are going to describe the table admission. Mag-uppercase na ko, class, para mas maklaro ninyo. Okay, so notice here, class, in the admission table, we have admission number, admission date, and then the data type is date, patient ID, illness, and then doctor ID. So meaning to say, it really happens in the real world that a table has a date data type, like enrollment date, issue date, okay, birth date. So that is a very important field, the date, because it will tell if when you do the transaction, or it will tell if the product is expired or not, or it will tell if the complaint is still valid or not, because you make date as the basis. Now, when you are going to insert a date field value, the syntax to follow when it comes to MySQL class is dash dash dd. Okay, so that is the syntax. Yan, naanag na ba una ang month, day, and then year. Pag imo nang buhaton, una kag month, day, and year, MySQL will record your input as 0000 because you are not following its syntax. So insert into admission values. So the first one is, since the data type is varchar, so example, admission 001, comma, date. So nakay codes class ha. So 2021 dash, sa may date karon class 09. Wala kayo nauto si Marichan lately, no? 08. Ayun. Patient ID. Kinsay na ay patient ra. Simba ko lang atong ibutang diri si Sir Carl Arroyo. Ay magsaba ni Sir Carl. But this one is recorded. So atong illness, ato lang gamayon lang ang illness si Sir Carl. Ang sarap man yung illness. Headache lang. Pwede ko kasabaan ni Sir Carl. Headache. Grabe mo, pa-admit ka din, headache. Doctor ID, actually, I have not made a table for doctor yet, but this is just a sample. Insert into admission values. Okay, then press enter. Ayan, so there is no error. So select asterisk from admission. Okay, so you see it displays 2021-0908. So example, we are going to input another record. AD002, and then the month is admission date niya. Let's go backward, 8, and then 13. Pero wala man tayo laing patient, so kana na lang yun. Lahi na lang po ang sakit. Sorry, Sir Carl. Alam dili kayo, grabe, UTI. Abando kong Sir Carl. And enter. O, you see, class, there is an error. Because nag-089 ta. So, ayan, nag-089. Ayan, query okay na siya. But, let us check ha. Ayan. Kasi, follow na ko ang the same format. Wrong ko. Dapat, una ko gear. Anyway, gusto ko siya nga daghan ko records. So, dapat, akong buhaton is MMDDYY. So ibutang na ko dira 09-13-2021. Parang excuse letter lang. So, there is an error because of the format of the date class. Nakita niyo siya, class? Hello? Hindi na kasi nako siya
Yes,
ma-zoom.
ma'am.
Okay, nakita ninyo, no? So, be careful ha. When you input a date, do not use DDYYYY. That is not a correct format. So, YYYY, tapos DD talaga tayo, class, ha? So, I hope that is understood. So, the third one is not successful. So, we only have 2 records because the third one is not successful. Okay? So, let's go back to our Word file. Is the Word file visible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, we have here the date function. The date function, nanata sa date functions class ha. So, we have here a date function. It extracts the date part from a date expression. And then, the day function returns the day of the month for a given date from 1 to 31. Example. Liba ko na jud ko ninyo class ba? Basta si Ma'am Jen ang magklase dugay kaya siya mahuman. Select select day ADM date from admission. So you see class, it only displays 8 and 13. So mo ni siya day. Kuha. So next naman is day name. Ay, wala na ng day name day. Kasi 8 is 8. Next. And there's day name. Function returns the weekday name. Let us try. Yan, Monday, Wednesday. Ano rin siya class day name. So, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So, that's the use of, ano. And take note, class, ang header niya, class, day name. Then, ADM date. So, you can improve that one. You can use the alias using the keyword as day name. Ay, alright. Kita niyo yung effect, class. So, it becomes day of week, unlike this one. So, you are renaming it to a name that is easy to understand. Alright? Naintindihan, class? Paspas ko, class, or kaya ra?
Okay lang, ma'am.
Alright. Sige, in a way, this is recorded and then you can just view if in case paspas kay si ma'am. Then we have month refers function refers the month part of the given date. Kasi usahay man God, you would like to know the sales for the month of January or the month of August, the month of September. So what we know is only the month. So how to extract if that is the case? So you just do it this way. Select, tapos month. Munang mas nindot naka-notepad ka, class. O, dili siya ayan. So, month 99. So, yan ikuha ang month portion of the date because na year, na month, na day. If you would like to be specific, tapos gusto ka September, gud yan iingon, dili ng 9, kay muhangat pa ka sa langit, unsa gani ng 9. So, ayan. So, month name naman yung gagamitin mo, class. September. And if you would like to extract the year part, select year. Ayan. So, say you would like to generate what's the total sales for 2021. So, what is known is the year. So, that is how to extract a part of the date data type. So, month, day, and then year. So, I hope that is clear. And if in case you find me very fast, you can just review this recorded session. And then there is also for date-specific data, we have cur date, that is, it returns the current date, cur time returns the current time, and then now returns the current date and time, hour, minute, second, and then time. Okay? So, kanina lang now and cur date ang ako ang i-sample. Pero actually, pwede na siya i-sample. Select car date. Ayan. So, select car date to 210908. Actually, it's no longer looking at our tables admission class admission. It's not looking at the table admission. System date na yan gina-check. Ayan. So, select now. So, it's checking. It's telling me it's 11:59. I should stop. Gamay na lang kay class ha. Gamay na lang yung ayon. This is the last. So, LCase function converts a string to lowercase. Okay. If programming is not properly done and user's input is not controlled, so it's either that the user will use all uppercase or the user will use all lowercase or the user will use sentence case. So that's why it's recommended that you are going to use LCase, UCase, LCase and UCase. LCase for the lowercase, converting user's input to lowercase. Actually, this is for making a condition purposes. Otherwise, if you do not use LCase, you are going to project or you are going to guess if user's input is uppercase, lowercase, or sentence case. So if that's the case, then you will just convert user's input to a particular case to equal it to a particular condition or to a particular value in a condition. Example, dito sa patient. Naku, isa lang yung patient ko. Select asterisk from patient. So, si Dan Carlo Arroyo lang yung nandito. Select asterisk from admission. O na lang. So, I will convert illness to uppercase. So, select LCase. So, I will put illness inside the parenthesis from admission. Okay? So, it's now converted from sentence case to all lowercase. And if I'll convert it to uppercase, I'll just UCase. And then, from sentence case, it's now converted to all uppercase. Okay, pwede kasi class kag select asterisk, select patient ID. Example, admission number, comma, ADM date from admission, where illness is equal to, tapos imo na siyang L case, illness. So, para dili na ka mag-check on or. Though, anyway, MySQL is case sensitive. So, you can do it that way. Where illness is equal to L case, illness, wait. Where illness is equal to, validate siya class. Where L case open illness equal to UTI. Ana. Okay? So in this case, though in our table, UTI is written in all uppercase, but since we converted it to lowercase, and if we have this kind of condition, so mas mubo na lang imuhang where clause. Dili na ka mag where illness is equal to UTI nga small letter, or illness is equal to UTI nga all uppercase. So daghan kay versions no on how it is written. So better to convert it na lang. Okay? Then length naman, this returns the length of the string, and left function extracts a number of characters from a string. So ano nga yun? Length. Okay. So if you would like to know the length of PF name, select length. So gawin mo lang siyang parameter from patient. Okay, so meaning the Giancarlo has the length 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ayan. So that is checking the length. Okay? Do you have any questions, class?
Wala na, ma'am.
Wala. Naluya ba mo sa akong discussion karon? Nasabtan ba ko, class?
Carry ma'am.
Oh, si Kerry no? Sa'yo lang man siya, right? Okay? So, be ready tomorrow, as what I have said. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. I will be posting 15 MCQ questions for you to practice in the exam. And Friday, that is your lecture exam sa Friday class. Okay? So, please post your permit tomorrow. I will be creating another permit approval so that you can take the exam. So this is the reason why I recorded this one, because this topic is part in our lecture exam. And then for your lab exam, by the way, I said that you are going to look for a scenario in which there are business rules. And then what you do is you are going to follow the template that I have posted in week 6. It is yung mayroong conceptual, logical, and then physical. Okay? So unsa may mga scenario nga makita nato diri? Actually, you can just Google the scenario. I can just type this is rules or any scenario. Makadali na makakita kung dito na lang mo sa ERD scenario class. ERD scenario na lang yung keywords. Or if you wouldn't want to have a scenario from the internet, you can look for any business rules that you are very familiar, and then muna imong himuan og ERD, himuan og business rules, conceptual, logical, and then physical. Example, you are very familiar with the business rules in enrollment. So, ayun ang tibuok enrollment. Pwede admission lang a part of enrollment because enrollment is very big and that would mean very complex, no? So, you just look for a small scenario. So, in that Word file, part 1 will be scenario and then part 2 will be your design. So, in the scenario, then the business rule, and then your designs na dayon. Conceptual, logical, and then physical. Question with the lab exam. Lab exam deadline will be on Tuesday, next week. So ako isulat dire, Tuesday, next week, lab exam deadline. So what's the date for next week? Tuesday. Today is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So September 14, 2021. That is for your lab exam deadline. So kayo lang yung maghanap ng scenario. On Friday, what's the date on Friday? September 10. That is your lecture exam. May ka na siya class. Questions? So kung giingon ha, pwede gud mo dili sa inyong lab exam, pwede mo dili maghimo og kuan sa internet kanang dili mo mag-Google. But make sure that you are very familiar with this scenario, and your scenario should not be big enough that you will be confused at the end. So you have to consider yourself as beginners lang. So ang scenario, pareha to kung let's analyze ninyo class ato mga painter, painting. So, kana siya. So, press ani i-paste na lang nako class ha. So, this one. Car dealership. A salesperson may sell many cars, but each car is sold by one and only one salesperson. Yung na bitaw? Nagets ba ninyo? That is your scenario. You can get it from this link. Naari daghan diri class. Exercises na bagyo ERD. Adi na lang kumusaba asa ni dapita class. Kaya inyo akong submitan ani. Sige. Sige, do you have any questions? By the way, class, naka-install na gid mo MySQL. Maglisod jud mo class kung wala mo MySQL class. Okay, kutugod sa physical design inyong kuan. Anyway, I will be posting the template also of your first lab exam. Naka-install na tag MySQL? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, naka-install na ko, ma'am. Dapat lang kay kalisod kay kaayo ani nga scenario no kung wala ka ka-install. Kinahanglan ka mag-practice. Done na, ma'am. Very good. I'm happy nga. Done na. But not everyone is answering yes, ma'am. So, baka yung iba, dili pa wait na. So, mag-roll call na ako, klasa. Kaya the last time, nakalimot na ba ta roll call? Where is the attendance? This one. Attendance. Add session. September 8. Naning lapas na po ko class ulit ay class. 10 to 12. And then add. Sige, roll call tayo class. Arieta is present. Acel is present. Jean is present. Neil is present. Margot, are you still there, Margot?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Christian Karugda. Fernando is present.
Present, ma'am.
Fernando is present. Fernando ba yun?
Present Dulay, ma'am. Present Fernando, ma'am.
Fernando. Si Christian may wala. Lorenzo Di Pedro, absent. Christian Dulay. Kasi dalawa pala kayo, no? Christian Dulay yung present. Gondaya. Rohilia is present. Joris Spiritos. Joris Spiritos. Wala ba? Okay, kindly check class, baka nagkamali ko class ha. Clint, wala si Clint. KZ is present. And Tricia is, na present ni sila class, kayo silang Tricia sa inyong klase. Jorish, classmate ba mo? Ha?
Present
Here's your
Dulay,
attendance
ma'am.
class. Please message. Dulay? Yeah, present. Ito siya, Christian. Sige, kung tama ako, class. Yeah, Christian present. Okay, I hope you have learned a lot from our discussion for today. And I hope you are going to apply it into your kung mag-activity mo at home so that you can answer our exam. Okay, so since it's past 12, that's all class, and thank you for your attendance for today and your participation. Bye, class. Thank you, and welcome, KZ. Thank you, Jean.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Neil. Welcome, Neil. Welcome, Fernando, and thank you also. Thank you, Margot, and welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome. Dulay. Ay, Carmona.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Ang saan mo ipa-extend?
Katong activity na ano, ma'am.
Pero you have to finish it tomorrow, ha? Dapat humana jud mo siya tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sige. Akong extend until tomorrow, September 9, right?
Okay po, ma'am.
Sige, ha.